Welcome everyone to the Hatha class today, and we are going to be focusing on balance. So if you need to have a wall, what we're doing today, you could actually lean against a wall if you need to, and then just for a little bit of security. So just in terms of balance, if you're on a really squishy carpet, that's going to make your balance harder. If you're on a hard floor, it's going to make your balance easier. Neither's better, they're just different, okay? So just be mindful of what you're standing on. And then with your feet, it's important how you use your feet when it comes into balance. So what I want you to think about first is spreading your toes. And I just realized I've got socks on, let me take them off. That would help. So I don't know if you can see my toesies there. So really spread your toes as though you're trying to put a little bit of space between the toes. Okay. As you can see, my heels are very slightly turned in as well. Now I want you to come up onto the ball of the foot. And as you come up onto the ball of the foot, I actually want you to imagine that your heel wants to try and touch the back of the mat. So what we're trying to do is widen the sole and lengthen the sole. Okay? And then once your feet are down on the floor, I just want you to softly engage your toes into the mat. Just very, very slightly, almost like someone's just about to push you over just to stop you from falling. And see if you can feel your arches, just like they're kind of like a little bit of a suction up. Okay? Now when we come into balance, what often happens is people roll onto the outer ankle. So as we come through the class today, I really want you to focus on putting the weight into the ball of the foot, okay? And almost trying to bring your heels together. It's just like have that sensation in your body. So put the weight into the heels. So if you had to come up on your tippy toes, the heels would want to come in together, okay? What that does is it makes these muscles on the side of your ankle kick in, and those help stabilize your ankle, which means it'll help stabilize you. So, like I said, you can lean against a wall with this as well. So come into this position, and remember with balance, focus on something opposite you that doesn't move. So not a fly on the wall or something on the telly. It might even be on the floor in front of you. Put all your weight into the left leg, and as you do that, just notice if your hip has just sunken out towards the left side. Okay, so that can indicate either you're just not using the bum or it's weak. So I really want you to try and focus on squeezing the bum to keep this alignment. So I like to think of almost trying to reach this hip off of the thigh bone. Okay, a lot of intention, integrity in that left side of the body. Now from here, you are just going to bring that right knee up to the chest, wherever it can go. So if you're wobbling, notice it's quite hard when you're doing this because you're trying to focus on something, but really focus, zone in on your feet. Are you rolling out or in? So let me just turn to the side. So if you've had a hip replacement, your knee doesn't go higher than the hip, so we're just going to hold the leg in that position. Okay, and then for everybody else, you can try and hug it in closer. So be aware that you don't come into that position. I want you to stay nice and tall. So think of lengthening up and up towards the ceiling. Pop the right foot down on the floor. Send your weight into the right leg. Make sure your right bum is active as you allow the left knee to come up. And then hug that left knee in. Now, same thing, if you've had a hip down on this side, just keep your knee hip height, okay? Unless your consultant has said otherwise. This is just a blanket caution. So you can pull it in. So again, make sure that you're not hunching forward. Have the elbows wide. Be nice and tall and proud. So if you're a little bit wobbly, just focus on where is the weight going in your right foot. Can you direct that weight a little bit more into the ball of the foot? Good. And we're just going to change and switch. So remember, nice spread toes, send the weight into the ball. If you want to circle the right ankle while it's up, you can. And then last one to this side. hug it in. So lift off of the hip. Imagine you're trying to touch the ceiling and you're trying to put a little bit of space between the thigh bone and the hip socket. Good. And then release the legs down. Don't know about you, but mine are burning. I haven't done yoga in 3 months now because of this foot that is not healing well. So what we're going to do is just build onto that now. We're going to do a baby version of a pose called the extended hand to big toes. So normally you'd be grabbing the leg, but don't worry, we're not going to be doing that. What we're going to be focusing on is just taking the knee out to the side. So again, if you need to lean against a wall, or you can even do it this way, leaning against the wall, or you can have a chair there or something like that. Let's start with putting the weight into the left leg. So there's no rush with balance. Often people try and jump into the pose and then they fall all over the place. So engage your glutes. This is a big stabilizing muscle, your bum cheeks. It's going to help those hips to stay nice and still. The right hand is going to pull the right knee up and flex that right foot. And now you're going to start to pull that knee out to the side. From here, what you want to make sure is that when you pull the knee out, I'm just going to pop that leg down, the hip doesn't roll as well. Can you see what it's doing to my knee? So you want to make sure that the hip stays completely square on. So for me, and I know that I'm quite tight in my right hip, this is as far as I can go. I am trying to take it out so I can still feel a stretch. I'm just not going to put any undue stress on that knee. Now stand nice and tall. If you want to take that arm out to the side, you can. Maybe you want to take it up to the ceiling, challenge yourself. If you're standing there super stable, then I'm challenging you to close your eyes. Whoop, she says. And remember, it's only balance. Doesn't matter if you fall. So take another 2 breaths. Keep lifting off of this hip. And yes, my leg is burning too. One more. Allow the leg to come back to the front, give it a hug, and then pop it down. Whew! Bum burn. Let's see how I get on with this foot. So don't be surprised if you have got a stronger side and a weaker side. Completely normal to have these imbalances. Obviously, I've had a foot injury, so if you've got one side that is noticeably weaker, then you want to be doing more on that side to help strengthen it. But as the foot is not healed properly, I'm just wary of doing too much on it. So spread your toes. From here, we're going to come into that high knee first. Same hand, same leg. This side's going to be very wobbly. Flex your left foot, and now we're going to pull the leg out to the side. So you might notice just with me, I can get this leg much further, and there's no judgment or, oh, that's good or bad. Just observe. Make sure you're reaching out of your right hip, and then also pay attention to the knee, that you're not just locking the knee out. I like to have the knee slightly bent. That's going to help those muscles to burn a bit more. And then lengthen. Take in 2 breaths. So if you're starting to wobble, where is the weight going in the foot? Is it rolling into the outer foot? Is it rolling into the ball of the foot? Allow the knee to come back to the front. Give it a little hug. And then release. Whew. I can't wait to get back to my own yoga practice. I haven't been to a yoga class in ages. So standing nice and tall, take a breath in. Reverse your chin back, take the chin to the throat, and start to roll down 1 vertebra at a time. So we have just been working the posterior side, the hamstrings, the glutes, a little bit of the core in the back, and the hips. So this is just a nice stretch for everything over here. So you can also have your legs quite bent with this if you want to. You can take the head to the knees, or you can have the legs a little bit straighter. Just relax your neck, your arms, your shoulders. You can see this little toe here just hangs around. It's not really connected to anything. Oh dear. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, hug your tummy in, hug it in, hug it in, hug it in. Once you come back up towards the ceiling, just have a shoulder roll. Good. Come back to the front. So take a deep breath in, reach those hands up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to your heart space. And from my heart to yours, thank you for practicing your balance with me today. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.